Good afternoon. I'm just wondering, I've rebuilt my C15 gearbox for those that have been following my progress, but I've hit a snag. I'm conscious that one of the female castings that take the inner cover case was damaged, and I've always been conscious of this, but on rebuilding the gearbox and the cam plate and the gears select perfectly, I've noticed that when I start the engine I'm getting oil pushed out of that aperture. Anyway, if you take a closer look at the video, perhaps I can get some sensible comments from people that think they may know what the problem is, or maybe come across this problem themselves. Thanks for watching. So I think you'll agree that actually that is not normal engine behaviour. Anyway, let's get the inner cover off and have a look behind there. One of the things I can see clearly there, I hope you can, is the movement between the bush and the shaft and the oil coming out whilst it wasn't, or it appeared to be coming out of that hole. It could be quite simply that this bush is worn, and as it rotates, natural movement of the engine brings it down. But yeah, curious, very curious for me as a new person to the C15 engine. So clearly what you can see there is why I'm getting oil pushed out of this broken casing screw. In fact, look, sorry I covered the camera up on that angle, but there's a broken case screw here that needs building up. Rob, I reckon you can get, once that's cleaned up mate, you can get to it. But look, there's the sump, there is the obviously the oil pump, and you can clearly see why oil is being pumped out of this open exposed aperture at the moment. Now, when I broke the engine, this was packed with some sort of gunk and sealant. Obviously the previous person had pushed the screw in almost as a sealant plug hole, but clearly I can see, even as a layman, that there are oil ways, and this is expected to be having oil in. It's interesting to see the engine when it's exposed like this. It all tells me that it actually is completely understandable why this broken hole here, again sorry I've moved the camera, this broken hole here is actually causing problems. I was worried that actually I'd punched through, or somebody had punched through. That's actually blind there, that's actually the cap, or it's plugged off. We'll have to have a closer look at that once it's clean. But I can completely understand when the cover is against it here that the easiest route to escape is via this exposed hole, and that would explain the drop in oil pressure as well. So actually, unless anybody contradicts me and has more knowledge, and to be honest with you, a slug would have more knowledge than me with these engines, that completely concurs why the oil is being pushed around, and the loss of oil pressure, and it's blowing out of here because this is the path of least resistance for the oil. So whilst I'm disappointed that I've gone back to square one with regards to the gearbox and the selector plate and all of that gibberish, I've actually nailed the reason that my bike is pushing oil out. Okay, so that's the damaged thread area. There is an oil pump here. I will clean it up, but as you can see it only goes in so far. That looks like it's got some sort of putty or some material that's been used to repair it. I'll clean all that out, but that's the thing, matey. For those people that saw earlier the oil weeping out of the top thing, it is on, and I can only tell you from mine because I've no experience with these bikes, but this brass bush here was the one that was forming the oil outside, and it's literally a press fit with a little locator stud here. When I check it, even with the human finger, and it's a wonderful thing how you can pick it up even with these rubber gloves on, it is worn in there, so I don't know whether these are available, but I'll be speaking to my usual suppliers. You can see there, I hope on the video, that there is a hole aligned against that bush, against that aperture, so I'll be buying another one of those. Isn't it a shame that there's no oil seal there to stop that actually pushing out? But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. The more I look at this engine, the more I realise that actually it's not quite as intimidating as I thought, and as I've said previously, I hope this encourages somebody else to give these engines a go. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, think about subscribing to my YouTube channel, because I do post videos probably weekly, much to the annoyance of the people that they bore them with. Anyway, thanks for watching.